Charity Singleton Craig, freelance writer and editor and author of the recently published On Being a Writer, 12 Simple Habits for a Writing Life That Lasts. Today, I am joined by another guest for my series, 5 Authors on Being a Writer, in which I talk to authors I know about their writing lives and their experience with their book. So today, joining me is David Rupert. Hi, David.
Hello, how are you?
Good. David is a longtime writer. He has written professionally for years. He's co-authored and ghostwritten several books, and he is also one of my co-editors at The High Calling. So I'm glad to have you today.
It's great to be
Anything
here.
else you want to add about your illustrious writing career?
Well, it's been fits and starts for most of my life, and I work for the government as a communications specialist. So that means I do a lot of ghostwriting, and I do a lot of articles, and I'll write letters. They'll come to me because we want this to sound good, and all of that is part of the writing life. And then what I get to do in my spare time, that's fun as well. So I'm really blessed that I'm actually paid to communicate, and then all of this other stuff is icing for me.
So, as I mentioned in some of the questions that I told you I would ask, our book covers 12 habits or 12 areas of the writing life, if you will. Was there one of them that particularly connected with you at this stage in your writing life?
Sure. I think the biggest one is number 9, and that's the engage. Writers write in isolation. You know, we love the darkness. We love the isolation. We love the sad places, it seems. And those are the people that are banging away in the coffee shop in the corner, or they go home to that little corner in their house, or they have a notepad and they're sitting by the river. I mean, we're drawn to the isolation because that's what inspires us. But what motivates us is not isolation. What motivates us is community. And as this chapter proved, that engaging with other writers and finding other people who will share this passion is something that once you do it, you never go back. But so many writers they hold close that thing that they've been writing, that great novel that they've worked on their entire life, or that grand idea, or even the journal that they write. I have people who are blogging, but they're keeping their blogs private so nobody else sees it because they're bound by fear. You know, we're artists, and so we're like, is this any good? That strikes all of us. And so that engagement with other people helps move you out of that isolation.
That is excellent advice. I love that. Well, so you may have touched on this in that answer because you expanded your idea of engagement beyond what we did in the book. But not counting that, out of those 12 habits that we mentioned, I'm sure that there is something that is going on in your writing life that wasn't incorporated into those 12. So is there a habit or an element of the writing life that you would add to what was in the book?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a little bit of an expansion on the third chapter of surrounding. That was a very good chapter about kind of surrounding yourself with things that inspire you, not necessarily writing. You go to great plays, and you go to great vistas, and you sit by babbling brooks, or you talk with people who mentally stimulate you. But for me, I think I need to take that one step beyond, and that I need to surround myself with great writing, because I'm getting pretty good about that other stuff, about the cultural things and stimulating my mind, but I'm not a really great student of great writing,
Hmm.
and I need to do that more. Some of that is just because of my lifestyle, and I'm working 50 hours a week and involved in a lot of other things, and so the idea of sitting down with a great book is sometimes, frankly, not available to me, but I need to do that, and that's something that I personally need to do, and not out of a guilt trip, but I think that's I need to learn from great masters and people who use language well, and just to sit at their feet.
So, you might have already encompassed this too when you were encouraging writers to write where they are, but is there anything else that you would advise a new writer or a struggling writer about what to do next if they were trying to push their writing life a little bit further?
Exactly. Uh, it, it's been kind of fun because a year ago I found myself in really I was virtually very encouraged by online people and through great organizations like the High Calling and coworkers there and other bloggers and people I'd interact with online. But I didn't have that face to face. And I didn't have that. I tried a couple of writing groups and they just weren't for me. So I started my own. And it has gone beyond my wildest dreams because I found so many other people out there who wanted exactly the same thing. We've now been meeting exactly a year. We have a mailing list of almost 90 people in the local area.
Wow.
We are having our very first writers conference next month. We have about 80 people registered for that, 14 breakouts. It's been so encouraging to find other people who want exactly what I want.
Hmm.
And it's, I'm not an expert. I don't have a whole row of bestsellers. I don't have any of that. I don't really have any cred except for the fact that I want to write, and I think other people want the same thing. So it's been really great to find those people. And I'm telling them, if you have one story to write, one story to tell, we'll help you tell that. And if you've
Hmm.
already told 1,000 stories, we'll help you tell one more. And we do it all under the umbrella of writing for a bigger purpose, a bigger cause. God gave us this gift. Okay, people have a lot of other gifts, but we have this gift. I knew it in the third grade when Mrs. Thompson came to me and she said, "You write better than any other student I've ever had." And I knew it at that point, and I knew it all through my life, and I've been writing my whole life of one sort of way. And probably so have you, and everybody else looking at this. So what are you doing with that gift? And
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing that I think everybody should be writing. There's so many opportunities. Start a blog, or go to your church and say, "I'd like to do the church newsletter." Or if you find somebody who has a great story, they've lived that great story, they've overcome an illness, they've experienced a tragedy in their life, something amazing's happened to them, they've had a business that's exploded and really done well. You come up beside them and you say, "I'm a writer and I'd like to tell your story."
Wow, that's great. That is great advice. I've actually never heard a writer give that advice to other writers before. And I think even if that's ultimately not the only kind of writing you want to do, but being able to provide that gift to someone else to tell their story is really wonderful. So what's next for you? What is your next step for your writing life?
I think, I have, I spend a lot of time kind of writing for other people, editing for other people, encouraging other people, and I'm starting to have that story myself. So I need to tell that story, and so I need to be working on that. And to go back just one moment where you talked about, uh, one thing leads to another. So maybe your ultimate goal isn't to write the church newsletter. Um, I have a whole string of events that occurred in my writing life, and I can go back and I can name them. One thing led to another, that led to another opportunity, that led to this opportunity, and it may very well end up to a really good opportunity that I can't say right now, but it's ghostwriting for a major figure. I didn't come to that all on my own. It was this whole small little steps. To he who is faithful in the little things, much will be given.
Hmm.
And as writers, you're not going to write a book that will be on the New York Times bestseller list. your first time out. You might put a blog post and nobody will comment on it. And you might, write a letter to the newspaper. The number one read section in a newspaper is the letters to the editor. So those little things and those little faithful steps can lead to big things. And so I'm looking forward to that in my life. If that doesn't happen, I'm fine. I'm very content with just being surrounded by people who have stories to tell, and I'm helping them tell that and encouraging. And
Wow, thank you. That's so good. And thanks so much for joining me today.
okay, all right, thank you very much. Good to have you.
And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you for our next episode.